for it.
Hello! Welcome to another class. Should I get my disclaimer all right? No, first off, this is a class about Anam Cara. So Anam Cara is a Celtic concept, but we are going to go over a couple of other things. I do want to let you know, I'm not a teacher, but I will go ahead and talk about things that I know about. So just keep that in mind. I do expect participation. This isn't just me sitting here. Usually I say standing, but I'm sitting right now. This is not just me sitting here talking at you. I do like when people ask questions or interject things that they know about as well. I don't think I've looked at the camera once. I think I'm supposed to. How's the video coming through? Hold on, we're just figuring this out. Can you hear me?
I turned mine down so it wouldn't echo and be disturbing.
Yeah.
I'm trying to find the live too.
Hold on 1 second. I'm just trying to figure this out. Will you let me know when and if people do hop on?
We have 4 people watching.
Yeah,
There's 2 of you guys.
does it say who they are?
Yeah, usually it pops up and says
Megan Bybee Wood
hi Megan!
and Lexi and me and I don't know.
And someone else.
And one other person, I don't know who it is.
Alright.
I would love it. It would be funny if it was Jessie.
It would. Let's see if we can see her comment.
It's 5 o'clock over there for her.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
In Georgia.
We're good.
We're good? Okay. Alright. And will you guys tell me if there's any comments, anything like that?
Megan said hi.
Meg and Rick says, "Buy you what?" Question mark.
Huh?
Rick
Probably not
asked,
Megan
"Buy
Bybee
you what?"
Oh, I don't know, Rick, but hi. All right, you guys. So, have any of you guys ever heard of Anam Cara?
No, that's why I'm here.
Okay. Have you ever heard of the concept of soulmates? Twin
Yes.
flames,
Yes.
soul friends. There's a lot of different ones in different cultures. So, I am a huge fan of the concept of Anam Cara. Anam Cara literally means, the Gaelic word for soul is Anam, A-N-A-M, and the Gaelic word for friend is Cara, C-A-R-A. Okay, so Anam Cara. And it goes into a lot of different depths because a lot of people think, oh, that's my soulmate. That means romantic love, right? You have to be intertwined romantically. Well, the concept of Anam Cara is not just romantically. It's also, just friendships and different relationships and a form of togetherness, okay? And it's absolutely beautiful. So, first off, I'm going to show you a book. I don't know if you can see it, but it's called Anam Cara, A Book of Celtic Wisdom. It's by John O'Donoghue, not O'Donoghue, O'Donoghue. But this is my personal copy of it. I don't know if you can see it. You see it?
Yep.
Okay. If this inspires you or you want to learn about it, this is a great book that I recommend. Okay. I wanted to do this more as like a round table to kind of bounce things off of people and get interaction that way rather than just do a PowerPoint and sit and speak at you guys. So that's what I've decided. So Anam Cara is what we're going to start with, and Anam Cara does not just describe the union between 2 people in love or a couple, but it's also it's a very specific and special relationship. So Anam Cara is between 2 people, right? But it's not just your lover; it's your best friend, a family member, anyone that may be your soul friend. Okay, which I love the phrase soul friend. Like, there have been people that I have met in my life that it's just like you're the other half of me. Like, but in a completely platonic way, right? Like, I love them because I love all of my friends, right? But I, like, don't want to have a relationship with them, like a romantic relationship, right? And that's kind of where this comes in. So it's based around spirituality and the bonding of two souls. So in some cultures, it's called soulmates. In some cultures, it's called twin flames. Each culture kind of has its own type of Anam Cara, but usually it is just with like a romantic relationship. Okay. So Anam Cara states that each person is connected to someone else's soul from the beginning of time. Okay. So Anam Cara is not just in this lifetime. It is when your soul is born. Okay. There is an Anam Cara for you, or more, right? The concept of soulmates, right, is two pieces of a puzzle, and that's all. They can only fit into each other, right? Whereas Anam Cara shows that you can have that connection with multiple people. And I'm not talking like a polyamorous relationship, which, whatever, maybe that's, you know, what you're into, and maybe that's how you found your Anam Cara, right? But once again, not talking romantic. Once those two souls have joined, they will always recognize each other. Okay, so say my Anam Cara, my other half, their soul was born 500 years after my soul was born. Maybe we didn't meet each other until 200 years ago. Well, from that point on, no matter what incarnation we're in, we're always going to recognize each other, right? And sooner or later, we will gravitate towards each other, right? So the Celts believe that your Anam Cara, like I said, could be a friend, it could be a companion, it could be a romantic interest, it could be a spirit guide, okay? Because, you know, just because my soul is here right now, and my Anam Cara, their soul was somewhere at the same time, well, maybe their soul isn't here right now, right? So maybe they're one of my guides. I really like that idea. It just kind of really resonated with me, and kind of the first time I'd ever heard about it, I was like, wow, that feels so right. Does that make sense? And I don't know if you guys have had that moment yet, or maybe, you know, if you read the book, maybe by the end of the class, maybe 5 years down the road, someone else will have that feeling and be like, holy cow, this is right, this is real, this is true. Any comments yet? Okay.
Just people saying hi.
Hello.
And Amy's watching.
Hi, Amy. Thank you again for last night. Okay, so they also believe that everyone, the Celts, either directly or on a more subconscious level, ultimately sought to find their true Anam Cara. Okay, so the whole process is your soul, your consciousness, whatever you call it, right? Because it's called different things for everyone. Your essence, your, you know, whatever, is always constantly seeking, okay? And it will not stop seeking until it has found its other half. And I kind of think that's beautiful. A little bit tiring, probably super tiring. Like if I were running around trying to find, like physically, you know, I'd be skinnier, but I think I'd be tired. So they said that without Anam Cara, you can never be fully whole, okay? Without finding your other half. So Saint Brigid, who is one of Ireland's highest saints, which this is getting out of pagan realm and into Christianity realm, but going there for a minute. She said to have declared, a person without an Anam Cara is like a body without a head. Right? So your body can't function. Sorry, this moves. Your body can't function without its head, right? Well, maybe your soul or your essence cannot function without its other half, right? And even though, like I said, that we went into a little bit of Christianity there with the saints, I find that incredibly beautiful. Like, and very thought-provoking. That's something that I'm like, I never thought of this, right? So, the tradition and concept of Anam Cara did start with the ancient Celts. So it started in the land of paganism, the land of the heathens, right? However, once, you know, the missionaries and whatnot from the different churches kind of went to the mainland of Europe and arrived in Ireland, the tradition and concept was kind of transferred over to Christianity, which a lot of our different pagan beliefs and holidays and rituals and different things like that did cross over into Christianity once that happened. I am going to try to stay out of the Christianity realm, just because while I know that I can speak intelligently about Christianity, I don't want to and I don't have to. Christianity is not my thing. So we're going to try to stay on the pagan part of it, okay? All right. Anything?
Lynn Ruff said that she likes the idea that it could be a spirit.
Yes. Yes, Lynn. Me too. So, have you guys ever just been sitting there thinking of something or had a decision to make or something, and something comes to you, a voice in your head, a feeling,
Yes.
a
all the time.
sense of something
All
that,
the time.
yeah, that helps to point you in the right direction,
It's
right?
it's my epiphany.
Yeah. So some people say that it's their muse or their deity or whatnot. Well, I personally feel that it's probably my spirit guide, my Anam Cara, acting as my spirit guide at that point in time, right? After reading into Anam Cara for a long time, I feel like even if my Anam Cara is not physically in this realm at this point in time, I feel like my essence and their essence are still going to search for each other. And once you start developing your gifts and your cognitive abilities and you're opening your third eye and different things like that, it'll be a little bit easier for that to come in. Anam Cara is really based on positive, okay? So, we'll get into this a little bit later, but soulmates and twin flames and the red string and all of that, there are negatives to it, right? Anam Cara is all about positives. So it's all about being helpful but not selfishly, okay? So that other essence is always there to help guide and get you through the things that you need to get through, that you have to go through in a positive, good way that's going to be beneficial, right? Whereas like a twin flame, sometimes a twin flame is like a mirror and it can actually be the destruction of you. I do think twin flames are beautiful. I do believe in that concept as well. But I like that Anam Cara is all about being helpful. Okay? All right. So, I am going to go into another, if I can find out where I put it. Right there. Okay. So, I'm going to go into another thought about the same thing. So, Anam Cara is Celtic, right? I want to go over not just the Celtic, but also other cultures. So, before I move on from that section, are there any questions? Yes.
Can a twin flame be an Anam Cara?
Maybe. You know, I personally say yes. I feel like maybe a twin flame can turn into an Anam Cara, but not really vice versa. Just because if an Anam Cara is all about the mutually beneficial, the positive, the happy, you know, the good, and a twin flame can have that darker side, I don't feel like an Anam Cara could turn into a twin flame.
Okay.
However, Anam Cara, even though it is about even platonic relationships, friendships, things like that, I feel like that bond can strengthen. And who knows if 500 years from now, if my essence and that essence, you know, maybe there does become a romantic component to it. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Is there any question? Okay. All right, so we're going to go into Plato's twin souls hypothesis. Okay? So everybody knows who Plato is, right? Very famous philosopher. So he is one of the most popular proponents of the concept of soulmate in Western history. Okay, so in his symposium, he writes, and I have the whole thing because I am not going to try to remember this. Okay, he writes at great lengths about how love comes in various forms. He writes about how Hephaestus, who is god of the forge, suggests that human happiness, whether we know it consciously or not, may depend upon the forging of two souls into one. Okay? So, what he says is, suppose Hephaestus, with his instruments, to come to the pair who are lying side by side and say to them, "What do you people want of one another?" They would be unable to explain. And suppose further that when he saw their perplexity, he said, "Do you desire to be wholly one, always day and night to be in one another's company? For if this is what you desire, I am ready to melt you into one and let you grow together, so that being two of you shall become one, and while you live a common life as if you were a single man, and after your death in the world below still be one departed soul instead of two. I ask whether this is what you lovingly desire, and whether you are satisfied to attain this." So, like I said, I wrote that whole thing out because I was not going to remember it. That is one of the earliest mentions of a soulmate, of two becoming one. Okay? And if you're familiar with the philosophies that, like some of the newer philosophies, a lot of them talk about two becoming one. When you get married, it doesn't matter, pagan, Christian, most of the ceremonies will have something about combining you guys together, right? Two becoming one. But Plato was kind of the maybe not the first person, but he's definitely one of the most popular, most outspoken about the subject. Okay? So he also said that perhaps it wasn't a unique quirk or desire, but rather that the gods, Zeus specifically, cursed us to ever search for the half of our soul that was split from us upon birth. Okay? So Plato basically said, you know, that we were one soul born and split. Okay? That doesn't resonate with me as well. Just because I feel like, in my opinion, as someone that really believes in Anam Cara, it can be, I feel like my essence is whole, and their essence is whole, but together it makes it more whole. Yeah? That was good wording. Ignore the wording. But did that make sense? Like, I feel like I can still be whole, but be be seeking at the same time. Yeah. So, another thing that Plato said is that one soul that is split upon birth and seeking forever to find the other half, that one half is purpose and one half is happiness. So, when they come together, you get not only the purpose and the happiness, but you get a sense of humanity. Okay? That I actually do love. I know that's probably kind of confusing, but I have met some super driven people who just eye on the prize, doesn't matter what's over here, like doesn't take time for themselves, they don't really care about their happiness. It's only about the purpose. So they have blinders on, right? And then I've met some people that are all about, oh, happiness, and they get walked all over. But when you combine those, right, you have your purpose, you have your happiness, and you have the sense of humanity all together. So I kind of really like that concept. Any thoughts on that concept? Yet?
None in the comments.
Okay.
I like that concept as well, though I do think it's possible for both happiness and purpose to be present in one person, in one soul or one essence.
Yeah, I do agree as well. Like I said, it resonates with me, but and I like it, and I want to dig deeper into it. But if you've ever tried to read Plato, especially the Symposium, I think you have to be the person that has all the purpose and none of the happiness, because holy cow, it's his magnum opus. Okay, if you guys don't know what the Symposium is, it is a like 9,000 page giant book.
Okay.
And it is very much like college level textbook, right? It's probably not something you're going to read for fun, but so that's where the happiness went out the window. But it's also really enlightening. The maybe 500 pages that I've gotten through, having to read those, but I've kind of put it in chunks. Like, I'm going to read these 500 pages 15 times before I'm going to fully grasp what he's saying, because it's big. Like, there's a lot there, and some of it will resonate, some of it won't. Okay, and then it says, he even said, well, not really said, but implied, that joining of not just two souls, but of all souls together, may actually be our ultimate goal. So we go from Anam Cara, which is the friendship, right, to the romantic section, which is the twin souls, or part of twin souls, to all of humanity being able to join their essence and their spirits together. Okay? Which, I don't know, I do know some people that I would not want my essence intertwined with, right? But maybe if I put my essence towards them, and we did intertwine, maybe it would have a positive influence. Who knows?
Maybe they need it.
Exactly. Maybe they need it. So what he says is, and the reason is that human nature was originally one, and we were a whole, and the desire and pursuit of the whole is called love. I like that. I thought that was beautiful. So that's kind of his twin souls hypothesis in a nutshell, which I think only took me like 5 minutes, so that's good, because that thing can go on forever. Any questions about Plato? All of this is going to come back together at the end, I promise. I'm going to throw out a lot of different concepts, and hopefully you guys hear something, feel something that really resonates with you. Okay? So any questions? There?
Nope.
Over there? Over there? Nope? Okay. Okay, then we're gonna go to the red thread of fate. Okay, has anyone heard of this? What do you know about it?
Not very much. I know a lot of comic books.
Okay. So it originated in China. There are a couple of different beliefs of a twin soul or a joined soul or a soulmate or something to that effect. But the most popular, which also has spread over to Korea, Vietnam, Japan, all of the Asian areas, is the concept of the red thread or the red string of fate. Okay. So the idea is that there is a red string, which is woven by fate. You smiled.
I'm just getting giddy over the topic.
Oh, okay. So the idea is that there's a red string that has been woven by fate, which is tied to your ankle on one end. Okay. And the other end is tied to the ankle of your soulmate. Okay. It's said that this string will lead these two souls together at some point, serving as a guide and a tether, as well as ensuring that no matter what happens, the two will meet.
I like that.
You guys, that's gorgeous. That is so beautiful. Like, it literally just reading that gave me people bumps. Maybe it's just, I want to, I got the optimism and everything, and I want to believe that there is this out there. But man, that is,
Now I'm wondering where my other side is.
yeah.
You've got me thinking so far ahead, and I'm thinking, where is my red thread? Is it across the pond? Is it
Yeah.
where?
And it could be anywhere. That's the thing. It could be in a different age,
Oh my
that,
gosh.
like, maybe in this day and age, you're not meant to meet them yet, but maybe, like I said, same with Anam Cara, like, it transcends all lifetimes. So any incarnation of you. So maybe 500 years down the road, maybe 3 lifetimes down the road, you're going to have that. And that red thread is going to slowly kind of reel in like a fishing reel. I don't know why, but that's what that reminded me of. And you'll come closer and closer and closer until you have it, right? So there are other versions where instead of around the ankle, it's around the neck, which I don't like. That's weird. Around a finger or around a wrist. And some people say that if it's around the wrist, sorry, that's how you become left and right dominant. So if it's your right hand, then it's their left, and so your other half is a left hand dominant person.
I prefer ankle.
I do too, and I don't know why.
Because I feel like you'll eventually walk side by side with that person.
Exactly.
I like that.
And you guys have heard the theory, when you get married, you are being shackled, your leg shackles, right?
The ball and chain.
The ball and chain. And I just I think that this is probably the theory that facetiousness kind of evolved from. Because once again, two joining as one is marriage, right? In some beliefs, not particularly mine, but and then being shackled as well as having your red thread of fate. I feel like that being shackled is kind of a mean way to say that you found your soulmate, right?
It sounds like you're being forced
Right.
into that relationship, and when men call their wife a ball and chain, it doesn't sound like they respect their wives very
Right.
much.
So I feel like, and that's a very Western thing. This is an Eastern thought process, right? So, and they have so many amazing and beautiful thought processes and like, I don't know, there's so many beautiful things, and then Westernism comes in and like bastardizes it, right? I don't know if I could say that word, or if I should say that word on our live video, but that's the word that came to mind, so that's what happened. Sorry. But I feel like that someone heard that, and then it eventually evolved down the chain to what it is now, which is being shuffled. So there are a few stories about the red thread of fate myth. All of them are kind of really similar. They don't differ too awful much, even depending on the region. So from China to Japan to Korea, they all pretty much stay on the same path. So one of them is a tale about a young boy who is told about the red thread of fate by an old man who claims that the boy's thread is tied to the finger of a girl in his town. The boy throws a rock at the girl in an attempt to avert fate, but finds that the woman he ultimately falls in love with has a peculiar scar above her eyebrow because of a thrown rock. Right? So another version of that story is an emperor who learns that a local witch can actually see the red thread of fate. And this one, a lot of people have probably heard this story. But the emperor engages the witch to find his soulmate. The witch takes him to a peasant village and claims the thread is attached to a newborn baby. It's a little bit weird. But the emperor, who he's just so upset, he's enraged, he's humiliated. He pushes the mother, which causes the baby to hit the ground, and it injures her forehead. Fast forward to the future, where the emperor is obviously older, and he meets a charming young woman with a scar on her forehead. Right? So kind of the combining factor of both of those is that there's no way to escape fate, and that fate punishes and mocks those who try. Right? So fate is a whole different thing that we are not going to get into other than this little part, because we can literally have a roundtable, a discussion, a class, whatever, on the different thought processes on fate for hours. But the idea that there's a soulmate out there that is tethered to you, waiting, probably sounds like a very attractive proposition to people, right? Probably a super scary one to a lot of people as well.
I think it sounds exciting to me.
So
I like the red thread better than the idea of a ball and chain, because a ball and chain is disrespectful.
right. So whatever you do, even if you don't think that that it can happen, or that there is that thread, like, maybe don't throw rocks at people's foreheads. Right? There's a moral of that story.
Maybe the rock is metaphorical. Maybe it's a word.
Yeah.
Maybe it's a negative facial expression.
Yep. It could be, anything, because you never know. You never know. With the the red thread, you never know. With Anam Cara, you do know. With the twin souls, you do know. Okay? So that's why I was saying this is going to get a little confusing, and I apologize. But you never know. Like, you don't have that. With Anam Cara, it's like just this deep-seated knowledge, okay? That, holy cow, my essence is your essence. I reckon the divine in me recognizes the divine in you, but they're the same type thing. Whereas with the red thread, it's just eventually, that's what happens, and that's fate bringing you together. I don't know that there's a zing or a huzzah moment with the red thread until, you see that scar that you gave them when they were little without knowing it was them, type thing. Okay. Questions, comments, red thread. What do you guys think? So which, out of the three so far that we've gone over, do any of them resonate with you?
I like the red thread.
Yeah? With the
Yeah.
ankle, not
Yeah,
the wrist or the finger or the neck.
Yes, because the ankle feels more like a partnership to me.
The neck one kind of freaks me out. I'm not gonna lie. Like, I don't know why it does, but the first time I ever heard that like spin off of it, it was like, That's like suffocating,
And I don't
like,
want,
or choking.
I don't want to be, it sounds like a lead,
Right.
and I don't want that.
Right. Whereas I like how you put your ankle, you can walk side by side.
Yeah, it's a side-by-side
I
thing.
really like that.
Yeah, and so I like that the best.
And something that
You're probably gonna have to speak up because I don't have the mic on.
I know I can hear myself.
Okay.
But I've taken in a lot of media, and a lot of them do the finger, it's a lot more perceptible. And a lot of Western media does take hands rather than feet or ankles.
Yep.
But an interesting idea with that is that you can hold their hand, you can lead them, and it's not just one person leading. You can switch
true.
off or dance with that thread, bringing you around.
Yeah.
To me, all of them kind of jive, but
I think the neck one's the only one that freaks me out. And like I said, I think it's because it's like, it's when I think about, you know, the red thread of fate or Anam Cara or things like that, like I think of good things, and having something around your neck is choking, is suffocating. It's, to me, it's like, oh, it's going to drag you down, whereas I feel like the original essence of this theory was to bring you up, right? So that's why that one just kind of doesn't really work for me. But it might work for some people. You know, that might be their thing. No shame in the game. Like, it's fine.
They're interesting vice.
Yeah.
Don't want that.
You. Any of them like?
Yeah, they all jive with me so
Yeah.
far.
Cool.
I do agree with you about the red thread of fate, you know, being tied around your neck,
Yeah.
because it makes it sound like it's a curse
Right.
rather than a blessing.
Right.
And if you think about it, it really is a blessing to have that sort of connection with anyone.
Yep. I agree.
and one thing that, sorry, don't leave, jump in.
No.
One thing that,
That's what I like. I like that.
going off what you said, and actually what you said, the way, anytime I think of that red thread around the neck, my first thought goes to much more like a prisoner, like the ball and
Yeah.
chain.
Yeah.
So it makes it sound much more, again, negative or curse-like than it really is. I agree with you.
How about you guys watching? Is there anyone watching? I don't even know if anyone's
There's
watching.
a few people watching.
Okay.
I just see one at the eye. I don't know if the names that are here, I don't know if these people are still watching.
Everyone's like, get out.
I think people are tuning in, then tuning out, and tuning in, and tuning out.
I've stayed at 3 the whole time, but
Okay. All right. So the next one is it also comes from China, and it is the Dragon Phoenix Children. Has anyone heard of them?
No.
Okay. So it's Long Fang Tai. Long, spelled long, Fang Feng, and then Tai. I'm gonna say that Tai. I feel like that's Tai. And so it's kind of it's a twist. It's a pretty fascinating twist on this. So it states that if a pair of twins are born with different sexes, so a boy and a girl, that is a sign that they were actually soulmates and lovers in a previous life. Their soul bond is so strong that they transcended death and were born together as halves of the same soul. So it's not saying that those two are, you know, now in this life going to be romantically linked. It's just saying that, you know, you have found your soulmate in another life, and now you're being born together into a new life. Does that make sense? So it's a little bit different than any of the other theories, just because it is very much you had this closeness, this togetherness, and it's going to transcend, but in a different way. It's going to morph into a sibling relationship or a friendship, knowing, you know, the other person probably sometimes better than they know themselves, right? There is not a whole lot of information on the Dragon Phoenix children. And I don't know why, because this is one theory that I would absolutely love to dig into a little bit more. Like, is it another part of like the red thread, right? So is it that red thread that you had brought you guys together in another life? You were soulmates, you loved hard, you died hard, whatever, and now because of that, now you're a Dragon Phoenix child? Like, is it just a continuation of one, or is it a completely separate concept, you know? And I'm a little bit sad that there is a very large lack of information on it. I have a friend, I don't know, that is in China that I actually, I was like, I need you to tell me about this. And he's like, I don't know if I can. And I don't know if it's I don't know if I can because, hey, you're an American and you shouldn't know this, or you don't have Chinese roots, or, you know, something like that, or if it's you're not part of this spiritual belief system, so you're not supposed to know, or if it's too big of a concept for me to try to explain. You know, I don't know which of those it is. I have posed that question to him to ask him, why am I not supposed to know, type thing, because I definitely don't want to step on another culture's feet, you know, if it's not something that, if it's like a closed practice, but I think it's fascinating and I would like to. So if anyone knows, do any of you guys know about them? No?
No, you're the first I've ever heard.
Okay. Alright, we're gonna go to Jewish then. Alright. If you're Jewish, if you know how to speak Hebrew, and I completely kill these words, I apologize in advance. Okay? So they have one called a twin souls belief, okay, which is Shidduch, so Shidduch. It's Shidduch, and Beshert, which I do know I said that right, but it's Beshert. Okay, the first one I don't know I said it right. So it's not only accepted, but it's how the Jewish culture approaches their relationships and has for thousands and thousands and thousands of years, like since the beginning. All right, this is literally taught. I don't know. Did any of you guys go to any kind of a Christianity like church, anything like LDS church, Catholicism, any of those types of things, Pentecostal?
I attended LDS seminary in high school.
Did they ever teach you about soulmates or twin flames?
No.
Or right? And I have gone to a lot of different churches, Baptist. You know, I went through catechism. I went through all these things, and I don't remember being taught anything about a concept of a soulmate, a twin flame, and Anam Cara.
I don't remember that at all growing up in
Right.
church.
Well, in the Jewish faith, it is very much taught. It is, it's kind of a lifestyle, I guess you could say, and it's very much accepted. So the terms Bashow, Bashow, Beshert, which is Beshert, and Zivug, which is probably pronounced differently than what I said it, is Zivug. But they play a huge role in a traditional Jewish coupling. Okay, so they relate not only to the concept of twin souls and that belief system, but also the belief that part of that is your community as well. Okay, so you have your soulmate, your other half, but then you also have a community that is your community, and all those souls are intertwined. Okay,
I like that.
which I kind of really
I like
dig.
that.
Like, I feel like, you know, when you do find those people or that group that your souls are speaking to each other, or like I said a little while ago, you know, the divine in me recognizes the divine in you. That phrase, that it's not just a phrase. It's really a belief system all its own. And I kind of feel like if you can find a community like that, it's huge.
That's how I feel about coming to Sage and all of you here.
Yeah.
That what you just said, that's, for me, that's coming here.
Right? So, you know, I feel like it's, what are we looking at? Am I getting random text messages?
Eleanor J. Rigo, I hope I said
Oh, hi,
that right.
Eleanor.
She says hi, Hope.
Hi.
I was just laughing, but I know you were doing the exact same thing I was.
Okay. I thought maybe I was getting some like weird text messages or emails or something. I was like, what are we reading on my phone? Okay. So they say that finding your bashert translates as inevitable. Okay. And it has its roots in the word gift. Okay. So it's a romantic soulmate that you are inevitably going to find, and it is a gift for both people, as well as the community as a whole. Okay? That's pretty awesome, right? Because inevitable speaks of fate, which goes back to the red thread, right? So, are you guys noticing that a lot of these different things kind of really flow into each other?
Mm-hmm.
So there's different beliefs in every system, but they're all kind of intertwined. Okay? And then in Bashau, that is a Jewish belief, or it's in the Jewish belief structure. It's an observed date. So it is a predestined date or time that they're, I don't know what they call them, so I'm just going to call them elders, and I apologize, but that their elders have seen or prophesized or been told or been given that these two Basherts are supposed to meet on this day, this time. And that maybe, maybe one's from this community and one's from this community, and it's a combining of communities. So that speaks to me. So the nature is irrelevant, but what matters is that it's kind of a beginning of a courtship. They've never met each other more than likely, right? But it's literally, that is the start of that courtship. That is the start of their intertwining, okay? To me, that reeks so much of like being betrothed or being, in barbaric times when, this king had a daughter and this king had a son, and they have to get together to make these kingdoms larger and stronger.
Marriage.
Yeah, an arranged marriage. Like, that's what that reeks to me of.
I don't want no arranged marriage.
That does not resonate with me.
No.
Okay? It might resonate with you guys. I don't know. So that's why I'm throwing it out there.
Sounds creepy.
Right. Let's see. And then to keep your zivug, Z-I-V-U-G, that is your life partner that will stay with you forever. Okay? That is, it's a Hebrew word, but the Greek word for it is zygote. Have you guys ever heard that?
I have.
Right? What's a zygote? Does anyone know?
Nope.
Okay? No? Oh, good. Didn't me either, because I can't remember. Because I asked. Holy cow. Someone look it up for me. Because I literally asked, and now I can't remember what it is.
I have heard
It's
the
a
word.
one. It's of one, but it's Z-Y-G-O-T-E.
Zygote is a
Euphemism.
eukaryotic cell formed by a fertilization event between two gametes.
Yep. That cleared it all up. So it's in not college or physics, whatever, words. It's basically when two things collide, become one. Okay. So what's interesting in the Jewish thoughts is that your bashert, which is your inevitable, okay, may not be your zavud. So you may be with someone that is your forever person, but they maybe were not the person you were supposed to be with. Right? Yeah. So sometimes, let's see. So sometimes your bashert is necessary for your growth, but it's not ultimately your forever person. But that right there ties back in with the Anam Cara, okay? Because you guys, have you ever heard of the theory that, you know, you meet people or do things or go places or have spiritual intervention or whatever when you most need it, not when you want it, right? You guys have heard that, right? So generally, even if you don't want it, like if I mess up and I don't want to face that, maybe I don't want some other outside force making me face that. I don't want that. Okay? That's not what is wanted. But maybe that's what's necessary for you to grow. Right? And so this theory basically says, you know, you have the inevitable and then you have your lifelong, but maybe you have to have both in order to grow.
So there's 3 people.
Uh-huh.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. Anyway. So very weird. So the ideal circumstance is that you find your bashert because of your bashau, your elders, right? Your community, and they become your zabu. But so when you get to that level of harmony, it's called a shalom bayit, and that's like the trifecta of everything coming together, and it's all perfect. So that was my foray into the Jewish culture, Christianity, Judaism. Sorry, the umbrellas. Anyway, yeah, I hope that any of that made sense. Did it?
No.
There are 3 people in this room besides me. I don't know if I'm looking confused, but everybody else is.
It made sense to me.
Like, I think that thought process is just kind of weird to me, right? Like, I do feel like, you know, you meet people and you, when it's necessary, when it's needed in your life, right?
Right.
Different things happen or come to you, or people happen and come to you at different points in your life because that's what's needed. I absolutely feel that way.
Okay, I accept that.
Yeah, right.
It's
The middle section that you aren't accepting, right?
It's probably my ADD that is confused.
And it's a lot of concepts. Like I've already thrown out 4 concepts in
50 minutes.
less than an hour. Okay. Yeah. 50? I started at 03. Okay. Oh, there's a lot. That's 7 minutes. Okay. Anyway, so it might also be that. All right. So we're going to go back to Anam Cara, just for a second, because I really like this. It says that. So the original was Anam Cara, so ANAMCHARA. I don't know when it was changed to remove the H. Either way, I think is fine. But it literally, like I said, translates to soul friend. The less literal definition, though, is confessor. Okay? So, and that's not like, oh, you go into confession and talk to a priest to give your Hail Marys, right? But it's a confessor as in they know every single part of you. There is nothing secret, nothing to confess because nothing can be hidden, right? So it's a paired soul who can safely hear your most dire confessions, secrets, and still love you, still trust you, still be with you, be there for you, okay? So that it is someone that has literally seen your darkest and deepest thoughts and feelings and loves you because of or in spite of them.
And stays with you anyway.
Right.
Sign me up for that.
Which I feel like everybody needs something like that, right? Because a lot of people, especially in this day and age, fear rejection, fear being alone, fear having their true personality come out and being rejected, right? There are so many, this is like turning into a weird sermon or something, but there are so many people that wear masks because they're afraid that their weirdness, their theirs, their them, will scare people off. And it's sad to me. So I really like this concept because it's, maybe not everybody's going to love you or be with you or whatnot when they hear those, but you will find those that will, right? Once again, not necessarily your romantic soulmate, though it can be, but really a deeply intertwined friendship, which I feel like generally, if you find your soulmate, there's not just going to be this flame and fire and that's it. Like, I feel like there has to be like a deep friendship as well, right? So maybe it turns into that. So it's a beautiful thought, mostly because unlike a romantic relationship, there's no real social benefit, right? So you're not there to procreate. You're not there to put your houses together. You're not there to build your kingdom.
Combined bank accounts.
Yeah, which is a lot of what a traditional marriage is, right? Like, generally people go into a marriage with the idea of growing a family, growing their houses, their assets, of course there's usually love and friendship and all of that as well. But with Anam Cara, like, I'm not worried about, having a baby with my soul friend. I'm not worried about, to keep my line going or to, combine our incomes and have more or do more or whatever. I'm not worried about all that. So that's one of the big reasons I really like Anam Cara. So generally with Anam Cara, so the rest of them are kind of like with the red thread. It's predestined. You may meet at one point and still not know that person is that person, but there is some kind of an intertwined linking. Well, with your Anam Cara, they're a complete stranger to begin with, right? And this is a lot of why I'm the way I am. Because if you guys know me in any way, shape, and or form, you know that a stranger walks in and I'm probably going to talk to him. I'm probably going to try to get to know him. Whether it's, to make their day better, put a smile on their face, to make my day better, to make a new friend, to just, it doesn't matter. I feel like everybody can learn something from everybody else, and if you don't put yourself out there, then you're not going to learn some really awesome things, right? And so this Anam Cara really resonates with me due to that. But the other half, it states that the other half of your soul is flung out into the world just randomly, right? So your soul and their soul are just flung to the ends of the earth, and you kind of have to go through trials and tribulations to find them. So you find that friendship, and then you have a companion to spend time with, go on adventures with, tell the deep dark secrets to, lean on in times of need, or boost up when they need it. You know, I think it's beautiful. So this guy, the book, John O'Donohue, not Donohue, Donohue. I don't remember what I said last time. He wrote. He's also a poet. He's an Irish poet, a Celtic spirituality guru, and one of the foremost authorities on Anam Cara. Okay, but in his book, he says about the beauty of an Anam Cara friendship is your noble friend will not accept pretension, but will gently and very firmly confront you with your own blindness. Such friendship is creative and critical. It is willing to negotiate awkward and even uneven territories of contradiction and woundedness. Okay, so I took from that, and that is in this book. I take from that your Anam Cara is going to point out, like, if you are making terrible damn decisions, or if you're doing things that are not beneficial for you or your community or anyone really, you know, those toxic behaviors, things like that, your Anam Cara is going to call you on that. They're going to call you on your bullshit. Okay? So it's not always rainbows and everything, which is what most people think soulmate is, right? Is once those two come together, that it's just smooth sailing and happiness. And Anam Cara shows you that, you know, you're going to have those deep, dark interactions. You're going to be called on your stuff. You're going to have to call them on their stuff. But it's all for the betterment of both of you. So, all right. Now this next section, real quick. Any comments, questions, anything on Anam Cara, the twin souls, the Jewish belief system, did I say red thread, I'll say it again, or the dragon phoenix. Is that all of them that I went over so far? Twin souls. Anyway, go ahead.
So you said that you go up to everybody and you talk to them and get to know them. Say you've needed something, you needed help, you needed, for the lack of a better word, a blessing. Somebody might have the answer. Somebody might be able to help you make that connection.
Mm-hmm.
So it's good to talk to everybody. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay.
And that's how I think. Like, I don't care if you are a multi-million-dollar business owner. I'll still talk to you, like me, because I'm not going to change for anyone, you know. So, which is probably which is probably not what is needed for to find your own car or whatnot. But like, I will talk to them as a friend just as much as I will a drug addict or a homeless person. Does that make sense? Like, I feel that everybody has some sort of worth. I feel like you can learn things from every single person. I feel like station in life should not be a precursor to whether or not you can grow and develop and have friendships, relationships, and connectedness with people.
So station and money don't matter.
In my opinion.
Yeah, I agree, because we're all human, we're all from the same maker.
Yeah.
We should all talk to each other no matter how much money we make.
Right.
Whether if we're a CEO or
Right.
or somebody who cleans toilets.
Yep.
We're all human and we need to talk
Yeah.
to each other.
Like,
yeah.
Of course there are exceptions to the rule. Like, I'm probably not gonna go talk to a child abuser if I know they're a child abuser.
Wouldn't you end up hating them?
Because I would probably go to jail. Like, you know, so there are exceptions. Like, I'm not saying, hey, go talk to every single person, no matter the good or the bad that they've done. I'm not saying that. I am saying that there are a lot of people that see, there's a lot of Christians that see, oh, you're a pagan, that means you're a bad person, I don't want anything to do with you.
Yep.
There are a lot of pagans that are like, oh, I'm a pagan, you're a Christian, I don't want anything to do with you. It's both ways, okay? There are a lot of people that are like, oh, that person's homeless, they're going to hurt me, right? There's this innate fear that a lot of people have, and due to that they let that control them, they're missing out on a lot of connections and a lot of growth and potential, not just for them, but for the other person as well.
I have put myself out before and I've talked to people and come to find out later that that person that I was just being generically friendly to thought I was chatting them up. How do you avoid that? Why does that person think I was chatting them up when I was just being genuinely honest?
Well, you know, everybody that was at Beltane knows that I apparently was hitting on some dude, on a guy that was there. I wasn't.
I never caught that. I never.
Huh?
You sure?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that I was not his type.
I was.
But, you know, you can't avoid that. You can't.
So I just put myself out honestly,
Yeah.
and I know I'm being honest and genuinely communicating with the person, and maybe they're insecure with them and thinking that I'm chatting them up when maybe there's something wrong in their life to make them think that way.
Or
Not wrong, but
Or
they're
maybe
having a problem.
they, you know, maybe they find you attractive and they're like, hey, like she's chatting me up, like, let's do this. Or maybe it's, this is awkward, I'm married, you know. But that's a simple,
Yeah.
like, communication barrier that you can be like, I'm not, like, trying to date you or, you know, hook up or anything. Like, nothing like that. You can just say that. Like, for me, I'm really blunt, so if someone's like, oh, you're flirting with this person, nope, just talking to him like I normally would.
See, that's
you know.
that's me. That's me right there.
Like, that's why I'm not very good at flirting when I am trying to flirt, because my flirting is me talking normally.
Yeah.
Like,
Yes.
and I don't get those social cues of, oh, they're flirting with me, because I'm just like, oh, they're talking to me just like I would talk to them. Like,
Yes, exactly. If somebody's chatting me up, then they go away, and my coworkers, they have said, that person was totally chatting you up. Didn't you know it? I said, no, I didn't. No, not at all.
yes, I would need like a break in the face to know that someone's flirting
Yeah,
with me.
it would need to be more deliberate words.
Yes. Yeah. But I feel like you can have you could show a level of compassion that shows that you are just being friendly or getting to know someone without the possible romantic sense. Does that make sense? I don't know how, I haven't found that yet, but I know it's possible.
I feel like it's that person's problem. If they think I'm chatting them up and I'm not, then they need to deal with it.
Okay, but maybe that's not a problem. Maybe,
Yeah, well, I don't want to say the word problem. I'm just not sure what adjective to use
you know,
for this. What?
Situation.
Yeah.
you know, and maybe just make it clear, like, I'm not hitting on you. I've said that. Do you know how many times I've said that? I'm just talking to you, I'm not hitting on you. I'm pretty sure I said it at Belting. But, I don't know, maybe that's something you have to make clear. But don't let that possibility or that eventuality stop you from making those connections and finding your Anam Cara or your red thread or your twin flame or your twin soul or whatever you want to call it, okay? Anything from the people out there. Are there any people out there?
Oh, Brandy said hi.
Hi. I don't, which Brandy?
Brandy
Dimmick.
Dimmick.
Oh, hello, ma'am. I hope you feel better.
Oh, Eleanor J. Greengross, I'm sorry if I'm pronouncing that wrong. I talk to men more, some take it wrong, but I always say I'm just being a friend. If they continue to take it wrong, I ghost them.
Yeah. You can do that.
Yeah.
It makes me sad, but yeah. Well, okay. So there's a difference. If you are just trying to be friendly, and you have made it clear to them that you are just trying to be a friend, you are just trying to have that connectedness, and they are still trying to take it in a romantic way, and you're not okay with that, okay, ghost them. I get it. But you have to make sure that they're aware that you're not trying to take it romantic as well. I don't know how we got on dating, but we're dating now. Or not dating. Lack of dating. Anyway, yeah. I feel like as long as you have made it known that you are not there trying for a hookup or something like that, you know, and if they continue that, then that's on them and they missed that opportunity.
We're getting laughy faces.
Oh. All right. Okay. We're going to go into the very messy, crazy world of twin flames. Okay? Has anybody heard of the twin flame concept? Yes.
You're the first I've heard.
Okay. You shook or nodded your head. What do you know of twin flames?
From my understanding, it's sort of like that one soul was divided in half and then kind of got flung out into the universe. But from my perspective, it's also ties into that red thread of fate that sort of keeps them connected and will eventually bring them together. But also it fluctuates. You know,
Right.
at times they may come together, times they may come apart, but they're always connected by that thread.
Perfect. What do you know?
I like that. I like that.
I only do three pieces.
Okay. Anything that stands out to you, that just like resonates?
No, you summed up pretty well. So at least as much as I know.
Okay, so a twin flame is an intense soul connection, also sometimes called a mirror soul or a soul mirror. Okay, it's thought to be the person's other half. It is thought to be literally one soul split up and flown, right? It's based on the idea that sometimes one soul gets split into two different bodies, and that they know that they have that need to come back together. Okay. One of the main characteristics of a twin flame relationship is that it will be both challenging and healing. Okay. So
Goody.
it's because of the mirroring aspect of it, right? So that mirror knows and senses and brings out your deepest insecurities and fears and shadows and issues, right? And so once those are kind of exposed, it can be very hurtful sometimes that you don't know how to take it, but it's very challenging. But they'll also help you to overcome them, right? To make amends if need be, to make changes in yourself if need be, to make changes in the world if need be, you know. But the biggest thing is they won't just do that for you, you also do that for them, okay? So it's, a lot of people think that once you find your twin flame, it completes you. It doesn't, okay? Your twin flame is not a completion of self, okay? It's really a way to encourage you, to help you, to make you see, or to make you act in a way to be more complete in your own self. Okay? Did that make sense? Okay. So, I have used the puzzle piece analogy, right? That it's two puzzle pieces that fit together perfectly. It's not quite a twin flame. Okay? You are two puzzle pieces that might fit if you turn your head and close one eye and, you know, but maybe if you work off some of those edges, they're gonna fit, okay? But there's that whole aspect of having to work in there. Twin flame is not easy, okay? Anam Cara is easy, because it brings out the best, okay? Two souls, or the twin souls, is easy because it's just, that's those two perfect puzzle pieces going together, two halves of a whole. I would say red thread is not easy either, but definitely the most intense of them is going to be the twin flame. Okay, a twin flame. I'm gonna give you some ways that you may know that you have found it. Okay, instant recognition. Okay, that that zing that I was talking about, that zing, that huzzah, that whatever. Like, you'll meet your twin flame and you will know, and it won't just be like on the surface. No, it's gonna be a deep down no. You may not be ready for that, and guess what? That's okay, right? Like, just because you meet them once, if you're not ready for it, doesn't mean you're never going to meet them again, right? At maybe a better time and place. Do you need paper? But I have a paper. Okay. So there will be an intense kind of a recognition, attraction, longing, reaching. Okay. You'll probably feel like home, like your safe spot, your rock, I've always called it a rock, or your lighthouse, because what's a lighthouse there for?
To guide your way,
Yeah,
to help you come home.
It helps those ships to know if there's danger, to say, oh, this is where you belong. Come to here, we'll keep you safe. Your rock is someone that is there and is steady and strong and always there, right? That's your rock. So that's what I call it. Is your lighthouse or your rock. That's just personally how I feel. A twin flame does not, just like Anam Cara, it does not have to be completely romantic or even romantic at all. Because, in my opinion, let me say, in my opinion, I feel like a twin flame, while there is that love and everything there, and it's super intense, that could also be maybe, a mother and daughter pair. I feel like there is some sort of a relationship like that, or a romantic relationship, probably not just like a platonic friendship though, if that makes sense. It could be, you to your grandfather or whatever, that person challenges you, makes you become better, makes you look into yourself and kind of grow. That's what they do. I have met people that I can guarantee are twin flames. My best friend and her middle child. Yeah. Her middle son. They're the same person. When you meet someone and you are like the same person and you bring out the best and the worst in each other, I think that could be a part of having a twin flame. Okay. Which leads us into, you are very similar. So a lot in common, values, past experiences, interests. There's a lot of feelings that I've been there, done that. And maybe it's not something you've been there, done, but you feel like you've been there, done. Well, it's really because that other person has been there and done that. But it's like, when you have a dream and it feels so real, like, I did this, you know, I've been there. That could be kind of their essence, your twin flame's essence, doing that, right? And maybe you're feeling that, okay? Generally, you complement each other. So I would say I'm super loud, you guys, and I'm very blunt, and I don't sugarcoat things, and I just, you know, say what I say. I feel like my twin flame might be like quiet and like soft, you know.
Cautious.
Yeah. Because even though those are kind of opposites, they do complement each other. They balance each other out.
The yin and yang.
And, yep. And everything is about that balance, right? You cannot have this side be here and this side be here and expect everything to be hunky-dory. Because you need that balance in your life. You need that loud and that soft. You need that strong and that hard. You need that strong and that soft, or weak, or hard and soft, or black and white. You need that balance, and a twin flame helps you. Okay, they help give you that balance. You beat me to it, but that was exactly where I was going. Was that while you have these amazing similarities, you also have these differences that do complement you, like a yin and yang. How do you say it? Say it for me.
Yin and yang.
Yep. Okay. So another thing is your shadow might be complemented by their light. Okay. So maybe like, ooh, you're kind of a dark person. Oh, you're kind of a light person. Oh, maybe you go together. Right. Okay, this one is one of them that when I say that there's kind of a negative as well. Your insecurities and doubts are probably going to be amplified. So I said, you know, that you're gonna have to face some things that you're maybe not ready for, maybe you don't want to, but it's definitely going to amplify everything so that you can work through it, so you can heal from it, so you can move on, right? If you have never met someone that makes your insecurities and doubts that you already know about but you don't want to face maybe, and you meet someone and those all come up and you're like, man, what do I do now? You know, what's your natural inclination gonna be?
Go home.
Run. Like, I don't want this. I don't want to face this. Like, if something makes you out of your comfort zone, here's your little circle and you're out here around this person, maybe examine that a little bit more. And I'm not talking about like, oh, like you give me a gross feeling in my stomach, because that's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about the things that you know you need to face, don't want to face, have buried, crap, there they are. You know, that's what I'm talking about. They feel magnetic, right? And there could be some super toxic people that are super magnetic. Narcissism is real, all right? And some of the most narcissistic people are also some of the most magnetic people, right? They draw you to them like a moth to a flame. There's a reason that saying has been around forever, right? So make sure that if you get that feeling, that it's not they're magnetic because, you know, they're a narcissist versus they're magnetic because my soul is calling to them. And I feel like there is a different feeling. I feel like you would feel a different feeling, right? No? Maybe? What do you guys think?
I think so, yeah.
I feel like if it's something that your soul is yearning for, another piece that your soul is, or your essence, whatever you call it, I feel like if it's something that it knows it needs, because I feel like it's going to recognize, right? I feel like it's definitely going to feel differently. I've said feel a lot, you guys. It is going to resonate with you differently than if it's just a narcissist. I might be wrong. I don't know. With twin flames, the relationship is tumultuous. It is up and down. It is not generally like here, especially for a while until things get kind of, you face those insecurities, you get on that even keel. It's gonna be hard. Is there a comment or anything?
Bradley and Kevin Barr are both watching.
Hello, Bradley and Kevin Barr. Okay, so being with your twin flame is like being constantly assaulted by the parts of you that you don't want to recognize, right? Because there's that balance, right? Or what you're trying to balance. So it's like I want to be light and happy, and I don't want to recognize the dark and depressed, but maybe that twin flame is that dark and depressed, and it's your other part that you don't want to see, and it's hard. Because that's why I tell everybody to do shadow work, like completely off of this topic, but I tell everybody that they need to do shadow work because they need to know all parts of themselves to be able to be well-rounded and whole. Yes.
Eleanor J. Gringa says twin flame / soulmate. What's the difference?
Oh, you missed the beginning when I went over soulmates, huh? So, a soulmate is if you want to. So all of these concepts would fall under the soulmate concept, right? Like as a whole. But there are different theories, different thought processes about them, okay? A twin flame, which is what we're going over now, is a fight to become balanced, to become one, okay? A soulmate, if you're going with the romantic sense, I don't know why I'm looking at your phone like I'm speaking to them. Do you guys notice that? I'm literally like, I'm talking to you, Eleanor. I'll look here. A soulmate is more like a meshing without all that fight. And then there's the Anam Cara, which is the soul friend, which is more of it starts out as a friendship or a platonic, not romantic. Did that help? Did that help?
She said yes, lol.
Okay. All right. You keep coming back together. Okay. That's a big thing with twin flames. Is we talked about the push and pull. Maybe you're not ready right this second to look into those dark parts. And so you're like, peace. The ghosting thing, right? Eventually, if meant to be, it's meant to be, fate, blah, 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 blah. Your twin flame, you're going to come back together sooner rather than later. And it's probably going to do that off and on for a while, okay? Nothing? Okay, sorry, I thought you were going to say something. So it could be months or years or decades or, it could be however long, and you're going to find your way back to each other. Your connection feels divine, okay? So it feels, for better or worse, like it is not earthly. Like it has come from above, it is predestined, it is, or below, whatever your belief system is, I don't know. That it has not come from of this earth. Okay. Have you guys ever met someone that you just really like? I don't know, someone you were put in my path divinely, a deity, a higher power, a whatever you believe in. Like, you were put there. You were meant to be there, right? Like that. I feel like it's larger than life, predestined, fate, whatever you want to call it. You know, there is an element of that there. There's almost a psychic connection. Okay, this is a big one for me with the twin flame, because I feel like this is the only one that kind of has that, other than the little amount that I was able to read about the Dragon Phoenix children. Okay, that there's almost like you can know what that person is thinking or feeling or needing, right, without them having to voice that. And I'm not talking like we're in the same room and, you know, I'm an empath and I can feel, you know, that you're anxious or worried or sad or whatever. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about I could be 500 miles away from you and I know that you need someone to call you and tell you you matter, you know, without having any other interactions, like without having a text sent or a picture or a phone call, anything like that. Like, do you ever get those feelings that you just know that you have to reach out to this person or do this or send this or
That's strong intuition right there.
right. With twin flames, that's exactly, you know. There is, I keep saying the word psychic, which a lot of people don't like, they frown on, but I can't think of a better way to put it, because everybody knows what a psychic is, right? So saying it's a psychic connection, it is a knowing without knowing why, you know, knowing without being told or shown or whatever, and it's strong. Okay, they push you to be and do better. Okay, so the light side, the dark side coming into balance, right? That stuff that you have inside of you that needs to be worked through, that shadow work, that whatever you want to call it, they push you and make you do better. Okay, which not everybody's ready for. I try to do that for every single person living. Like, and I'm gonna say I probably don't have 9,000 twin flames out there. Maybe I do, I don't know. But that's one of my big things, is I want to make you do and be better. I want to, it's how I kind of live my life. I want, what was that?
Low battery.
Oh, 10 or 20? 20. Okay. I want to, it doesn't matter if I'm in someone's life for a short time or a long time, I want them to, whether it's know themselves better, whether it's do better by others, whether it is do better for your community, for the environment, whatever. I want to have that impact on as many people as possible, regardless of whether they're my twin flame or not. Okay? And I think that's huge. I think that when it does come to actual, like, with your twin flame, it is a more intense feeling of wanting to make you do or be better. Okay? So, more with twin flames, you'll go from like your soul yearning for this before you've even met, to actually meeting and your soul or your essence is rocked, right? And then you'll go to the honeymoon phase, the, you know, everything's amazing phase. to the holy cow, this is hard phase, to testing of that friendship or relationship, to the give and take, the push and pull, the chase section of it, right? To surrendering to, okay, this is what it needs to be, and learning, to the final stage of the coming home. We have burned super bright. Your flame starts out small, right? Then it goes to huge, then it goes back to small, and you're where you need to be. In that stage, at the end, you're supporting each other, you're facilitating growth for each other, but there's not that push and pull, or that push and insecurities and things like that. So back to your question, because now I've come to that part. The biggest distinction between a twin flame and any other type of soulmate is that twin flames are two halves of the same whole that don't fit. So remember I was talking about the puzzle piece, and a soulmate, they fit effortlessly, right? Whereas a twin flame, they'll fit eventually, but maybe this part's a little messed up, so you gotta turn your head and close your eye, and wither away that little corner until they do fit. It's meant to be still, but it's hard work, okay? So a soulmate changes who you are by bringing you closer to your true and authentic self. Some people consider twin flames and soulmates, or twin flames, to be one of the many types of soulmates, which is what I had said before. Like soulmates, kind of almost like pagan is the umbrella term for, Buddhism and Wicca and Taoism and heathenism and Norse and all of those. They all fall under a pagan umbrella. Soulmates would be that umbrella category, with all of these, the twin flames and all these other things coming together. So are twin flames always romantically involved? Most people will say yes. I don't think so. I think that if you're talking the red thread of fate, there's always that romantic part, right? If you're talking the Jewish beliefs, I think that there's that romantic involvement. I think that if you're talking about the twin souls, there's that romantic involvement, okay? But I feel like a twin flame is more along the lines of Anam Cara, that it can be friendship or platonic, okay? And then, can you have more than one? Most people say you have one and only one soulmate. I disagree. No, not true. I disagree that there's only one twin flame. I feel like, just like with Anam Cara, you can have multiples, because right now you may need to face this, and you may need this push, but maybe 10 years down the road, you need to face something else and have a different push. So maybe you need a different twin flame there, right?
Yeah, yes.
Everybody, okay, the red thread of fate says that everybody has that other half, right? Everybody. Anam Cara says that everybody does have it, but it will vary whether it's platonic or romantic. Twin flame says not everyone's going to have a twin flame. Plain and simple. Not everybody's going to have a twin flame. That a twin flame is actually a rare connection, and that not everybody will feel that pull. Or if they do feel that pull, then they might disregard it, okay? And maybe have a lost opportunity. Or another theory is you don't have that twin flame as of yet because you have a new soul. Your soul has not gone through, or your essence, whatever you call it, has not gone through the trials and tribulations, the whatever it does need to go through in order to split, in order for you to have that twin flame to finally grow. Okay? Can twin flames become toxic? Yes. Holy shit, yes. Sorry. Yes. Just because someone's your twin flame does not mean that they are good for you, that they are going to help you, that they are going to make you be better and do better. And that's where you really need to have an understanding of different personalities, like a narcissistic personality, especially a narcissistic personality disorder, which is a real thing. You need to know and be able to see the signs of toxic human beings. Yeah.
I'm going through that toxic twin flame friendship right now. She's not in our community. She's I knew her from a different group.
A different lifetime.
And I'm still friends with her, and I keep thinking I should go visit her, but the word shouldn't be should. There should not be should. I should go. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, I do.
And I keep thinking, well, why? How come I just can't cut myself off? Or how come I feel like I still need to communicate with her? But
It could be, you know, that it could be there's gaslighting going on. It could be a lot of different things. It could be that you're tethered. If you want to go metaphysical wise, it could be that you're tethered together, and not in a good way, not like a red thread of fate way, but like anchor and chain in the ocean way.
I do feel like there's still tethering between me and this person.
But is it beneficial for either of you? Or is it beneficial?
I think I'm beneficial to her.
What would she say?
Well, a few Saturdays ago I went over to visit her, and we did a YouTube film. We made a YouTube film,
Okay.
and then but we felt into place like we had a bad incident a few years ago, but we overcame it. But there's still some scars, and I think we still feel it. But when I went to see her a few Saturdays ago, we fell back into place like there was nothing happened. And then she sent me a text saying, you know, you're a really good sister. But then I keep thinking back to where she tried to say, no, you have to do this. And it's a long, sticky story. And I keep thinking, I should stop talking to her, but then I can't.
Okay. So
It just,
you know, that is a really fine line, that could be a twin flame type of thing, but that could also be a narcissistic type of thing. That could be gaslighting. That could be, there's a lot of different things that could be. What I would tell you to do, I've already said it once, shadow work.
yeah.
Also,
Yeah.
maybe, you know, that meditation, do some free writing, everything that pops into your head, write it down. Don't try to make sentences, don't try to make real words, like literally just write for 5 minutes, do nothing but write with no one around. Just write everything that pops into your head about a certain situation. So meditate on whatever the situation where the person is, and then do that.
I did it. I did exactly what you said, even before I even knew about the metaphysical part of this.
And what does it say?
The con list was so long. It really was.
That gives you your answer right there.
And
If you have 2 pros and 90 cons, it's probably a narcissistic
Well, see-
relationship. Not. Is there anything that is of a betterment? So is she pushing you to do better and be better for you and your community and everybody at large?
no, I feel like that I'm with her to make herself feel better about her.
Well, that's probably a toxic relationship, and
Yeah.
there's probably
Well,
narcissism
see-
going on, not twin flame.
I
That's my my relationship advice from the not relationship counselor.
I've been going back and forth with this for the longest time. I didn't even like her husband. It goes back 5 years.
Okay. It's a minute. It's been a minute. Okay.
Yeah.
So really quick, does anyone have any questions, comments, anything on any of the many theories that we just went through? It was a lot, huh? Is it confusing? It was probably confusing. I'm confusing. You're welcome. Read the book. Anam Cara, while some of these do resonate with me, parts of them do resonate with me, Anam Cara is definitely something I feel everybody needs to be aware of. I feel like everybody needs to know, and I feel like it will make you grow and become more. Grow and become better. Do better. I feel like it's a hugely important theory that I can almost guarantee if I have 10 people that look into it and read the same book, 9 of those people are going to be forever changed for the better.
I feel like I am just for this past
So.
2 hours.
So I think it's huge. Anyway, and then Hygge, okay, is another theory that we'll do a class on.
Eleanor wants to know what the book is called.
Oh, I will bring it. Oh, monkeys. I forgot this chair doesn't slide. Am I in the frame? Am I too close? Am I too far?
You're good. That's perfect.
The author is John O'Donoghue, Anam Cara, a book of Celtic wisdom. Hopefully you can screenshot that or something.
It looks good.
Okay. All right. Thank you guys for joining me and listening to me ramble and do a weird round table. I hope you learned something. I hope something resonated with you. If you have questions, you need anything, hit us up. I'm always willing to talk about subjects I'm passionate about, and I think that this one probably qualifies. So, goodbye. Bye-bye now.